Hey guys, I'm Kaylee Betson, reporter for Play News Magazine. You know all those questions you've been dying to ask Mr. Bots? We asked you to send us your best ones using hashtag AskBots on Twitter. And Play selected the top 5 questions to ask him today.
What is your most embarrassing moment as an educator?
My most embarrassing moment, probably going back to my very first year of teaching, very first day of school. I was at Complete High School Mays, and it was the first year that school opened, and we wanted to do something different to make sure the students know that it was truly a different program. And so we, as teachers, there was 3 other teachers. We dressed up in kind of gangster apparel, and we had a rap that we had made talking about Complete High School, what we were about, and how we were going to be different. Just embarrassing because that was my very first experience with students in a real job, and we continued. That was a cool tradition because we continued to do that every single year. I think they even still do it today. And it wasn't embarrassing year number 2 or 3 just because we have always done things differently. But for the first time, I truly got to interact with students on my new job, and being dressed in goofy attire was a little uncomfortable and embarrassing.
What incited you to take on a career in the field of education?
Why did I want to be a teacher? I've always liked math, and I struggled. I mean, I took advanced classes in high school, but I was kind of at the bottom end of those classes. I struggled, and so I felt like I could truly help make a difference with students who struggle with math because I went through some of those same struggles. I also wanted to coach, and that was a huge drive for me, and so coaching and teaching.
How did you propose to your wife?
All right, how did I propose to my wife? Very cool story. I think it's a cool story. We went up to Kansas City. It was kind of around this time of the year, Christmas time. Plaza was all decorated and everything, but I had made reservations at Sky's Restaurant, and that's the restaurant kind of downtown that rotates around the very top floor. We were both dressed up, and so we got to Sky's Restaurant, and we had ordered a nice bottle of wine, and pretty soon, like right when the wine came, that was kind of the cue. And so I had a friend, Christy Custer actually, who I used to work with over at Complete. She met us up there, and she had gotten to the restaurant a little bit earlier and handed some of the customers who were in the restaurant a rose. We had 2 dozen roses, and so right when that wine came back to our table, all these people kind of got in a line and went up to our table and laid a rose down on the table, and each one said, "Congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations." And so the 24th rose was actually given by Christy, and Molly, my wife, looked up and saw her, and tears started gushing, and right when Christy delivered the last rose, I got down on a knee and asked her to marry me. And it was very cool. Everybody then clapped in the restaurant, and kind of the cool thing next was that I had kind of prearranged for all of her family and her friends to meet us up there the next day. And so, but I had also told them not to answer their phone when she called that night because I knew that she was going to want to share the news. So this was kind of later in the evening, and so she tried calling her best friend and her mom and her sister, and she couldn't get a hold of anybody. And so they were all getting very frustrated, or Molly was getting very frustrated, and oh, I'm sure they're all just busy, is what I told her. And the next day, we went to the Cheesecake Factory. I had made a reservation there, and we arrived a little late on purpose. And when we sat down, her family was there, her mom and her sister and all of her best friends came to join us, and kind of got to have that celebration all together.
We know what you order for Imps, but what do you get from Taco Bell?
Taco Bell. I don't know if this is good or bad. I'm not a huge Taco Bell fan. But when I do eat Taco Bell, I like to get their Mexican pizza with no tomatoes.
What were your first expectations of becoming the MHS principal? Did you know you would be this popular and loved?
No, I didn't expect to be popular or loved. It's very much appreciated. My expectations were to come in and try to infuse my personality, my values, to what I think a good school is. And for me, that's relationship building, and that's truly making students feel like they have a say in their school. It's also giving teachers freedom to do what they think is best in their classrooms. I'm not one who wants to go in and kind of do a top-down, this is how we're going to do it. I'm not that smart. And so I think that we have some amazing teachers here who just need the encouragement and resources to teach their hearts out and infuse that down into students to give them a love of learning. And once again, for students to truly feel like they have a say in what goes on in their school.
Then no.